Hey everyone, so it's long overdue, but I'm finally gonna do a tour of my van home right here behind me. Welcome to the captain's chair of my van. These seats are really comfy and I love them, and they're the only two seats in my van because obviously the back seats were taken out to make room for a home. Some components of the front include, here's the main dash, here's where I keep odds and ends, important things, the manual to my van, and of course parking tickets. Yep. And this is a fan that would plug into the charging ports here, and it was awesome until the charging ports of my van stopped working. Once I get my first paycheck at my new job, that'll be the first thing I'll be looking at doing, is getting those charging ports fixed because they're really valuable. And then over here is the passenger's chair. I've had a couple of people adventuring with me. Another thing I really like about these chairs is the armrests that you can move up and down. They're really comfy for when you're driving for long term, and then you put them up to get into the back. This blanket is kind of my picnic blanket. It stays here on the back of this chair. It comes in handy a lot. My trash can usually consists of a bag of sorts that sits next to my chair. These doodads hanging off of my rear view are special. This is a necklace that my great-grandmother used to have. She's passed away now, but she was also an Aquarius, so this is an Aquarius necklace. And this is a little thing I found while I was walking across the country in the climate march. I found this little token on the side of the road while I was walking, and this thing is my sunshade. It goes across the front windshield of my van. Usually when I'm parked, it's good for keeping the van cool, but I mostly use it for privacy. It blocks off the view into my van from the front windshield, which is great. I keep an incense burner on the front seat. Gotta keep that van smelling great. So, I don't know, I guess it depends on your opinion. I think incense smells great. My mom hates it. There we go. And now we're gonna head into the back of the van. On the back side of my chairs, I have these really awesome deep pockets that hold a bunch of things. So I'll start with this one. I think the most important thing I have in this pocket is this binder doodad. It's where I keep all of my important paper documents that I might need, my repair records for my van, oil changes, stuff from college, my passport's in there. I definitely highly recommend anyone who's going to live this lifestyle that they get something similar to this. By no means do you want like a big filing cabinet like people have in their houses, but you definitely want like a safe, organized place to keep important documents. And on this side, I keep my map of the United States and a few travel guides that I got from the Ithaca book sale before I left for super cheap. And then this is an ever important first aid kit. This is my United States map where I keep track of all of the different states I've been to. All the ones with lines through them and the outsides are traced are ones I've been to. I've got a little heart over New York State because that's where I'm from. When I started this trip, I'd been to 20 states. Now I've been to 22. I added Kansas and Missouri to my map. I did drive through Utah and Nevada, but my criteria for crossing off states is that I have to have spent at least 24 hours there and had some sort of defining experience. So since I was just driving through both of those states for a couple hours, they don't really count. I do try to take my shoes off when I come into the back of the van to keep the carpet nice and clean. I'll wear shoes up front while I'm driving. Sometimes I take them off, but when I come into the back, the shoes always come off, and I ask guests to do the same. It helps keep things clean. Just behind my captain's chair, I have my cooler, which is where I keep things that need to stay cold. I definitely recommend, if you're going to be doing some traveling, try to keep most of your meals to like dry food items. And if you do need fresh foods, fruits and vegetables for your meals, make sure that you buy them in small quantities. You buy just enough that you need for whatever meal that you've planned ahead. because if you go out for like a normal grocery shopping trip and you have a ton of groceries, like you're gonna have to keep buying ice and like dumping out your cooler and putting the new ice in, and it's really obnoxious and it can get expensive after a while. Eventually I would really like to get solar panels on the roof of my van, because then I could kind of like run an outlet in here, and I could maybe even have like a mini fridge, which would be super cool. Since my charging ports are broken, I've been using my laptop to charge my phone. Yeah, it's not the greatest situation. The phone charges really slow. My phones usually never charge more than like 40% at a time, which is obnoxious. And then this red bag is actually my sleeping bag container, but while my sleeping bag's out, I use this as my laundry bag. Pretty convenient. This is my Coleman 2-burner stove, which I'll open up to show you. This little thingy goes into the side here. And then this is where the propane tank attaches. So I keep that up here. So yeah, you just take this little lid off and screw it into here, and then you have firepower to make your meals with. And then underneath my stove, where I keep that, is this Tupperware container. And in it I keep all of my cooking stuff, like pots and pans, strainer, ladles, things like that, and some Ziploc bags. The Ziploc bags are your friends. This is my bed. It is also a Coleman cot that my dad gave me before I left. Thanks, Dad. So the way this is set up is we have the cot, and then underneath the sheet I have like a really basic foam pad, the mattress puffy thing that came with the cot, and then a layer of memory foam, which makes it pretty thick and comfy. I sleep very well in my van, which is awesome. And then the sleeping bag, I think it's somewhere between a 20 and a 30 degree. I don't know, I got it for free from a friend. But it definitely keeps me plenty warm during the summer. Pillow. This is my travel buddy, Snowy. I've had him since I was 8 years old. He goes everywhere with me. He's very beat up, as you can see. Very well loved. And then what's the great thing about having a bed that's like raised off the floor is you have storage space underneath. I can convert this into a space that fits 2 people. So what I'll do is I'll take down the cot, fold it up, and I'll put it in the back against the doors. The sleeping bag will also go to the end, and the sheets as well. And then I keep stored underneath my bed an extra pillow, and this is a comforter and a thing. So I will put all of the mattress stuff right directly on the floor, and then the extra pillow and the comforter will come out, and then you have a comfy throne for 2 people. Also under my bed, I have a laundry basket full of dry foods and non-perishable goods. Yeah, so I super lucked out when I got this van. My dad found it actually while I was still in college on the side of the road. Someone was trying to sell it. It had been a contractor's van. So somebody who fixed things for a living, and this was his work van. So like I said, I was really lucky because it was mostly already put together the way I wanted it. So he had already installed the carpeting, which is great. These 2 shelves were already installed in the van. So this shelf here, which holds most of my camping gear, used to look exactly like this one. My dad and I spent a couple days altering the shelf. So it used to kind of run to, where is it? This shelf used to come up to here, so you can see how much length it lost. And then we took out the bottom component of it. So it became a shorter shelf with just one top thing, and that way my bed could slide underneath it and I could sleep under it comfortably. And if I have a bad dream or something and I wake up in the middle of the night, I won't smack my head on the shelf, which is great. I have an electric lantern. My propane tanks go up here. My butane lighter. Here's my sleeping pad. This is the tarp that goes underneath my tent. Here's my tent. A camp stool to sit on. Some other odds and ends. I have a Frisbee. There's a dry bag up here somewhere. And I also have a water purification system if I ever need it. If you're thinking of doing this yourself, definitely a headlamp is totally essential, very helpful for camping. And I would recommend something like this electric lamp as well, because obviously you don't want to have your van or whatever vehicle it is running all the time for light. Over here is my big shelf, the top of which, as you can see, is my personal library. I'm kind of going through these books one by one. And then on this shelf, I have my big soup pot, and my vegetable oil bottle goes in here because it leaks for some reason, so I don't keep it in the laundry basket. It stays in here, upright. Here are all my clothes. Yep, that's all I have for clothes. These are my shirts and a few other things, and these are my pants. And this box back here has all my underwear and stuff. It's really handy to have the hanging hooks on either end of the shelf. It gives me some extra space to hang up some larger objects. On the bottom end of things, here's the car kit I was talking about. This is really handy. So this is a Travel Pro case. It's kind of an emergency situation sort of thing. And then these are my 2 water jugs. Not full right now, but I usually keep them. I fill them up whenever I can. It's really important to have some extra water. Good for cooking is what I use most of the time, brushing my teeth. So then, of course, decorations are an important part of any home. You want to make it feel like it's your own space. As you saw up front, I have some things hanging off my rear view mirror that are special to me, my incense burner, stuff like that. And then the other things that I did to decorate my van, you can see up here, I had some scarves that I found in the process of going through my stuff and condensing it to live in a van. Some colorful things. So what I did is I took them, folded them in half, and I tacked them to my ceiling with thumbtacks, so it's a little bit more decorative in here. And then I have my prayer flags. So when your vehicle becomes your home, obviously privacy is really important. It's a small space. One of the things my dad and I did when we were working on this van is we also installed blinds. And so now my van, you can't look in through any of the windows. The only 2 windows that stay exposed when I have my sunshade up too is the side windows. The seats do a pretty good job of kind of blocking the view to the back. As you can see, someone would really kind of have to wiggle around a whole bunch to try to look in here and see what I was doing. So yeah, this is great. I can sleep at night with peace of mind and not thinking that there's any creepers staring at me. Another alteration we did to my van on the outside. Unfortunately, the bottom part of my van, the body, has some rust on it. So we sprayed some anti-rust on it and painted over it with black. So my van's color is usually this, but we painted over it here. You can still see some of the rust coming through. And that's around both sides of the van and on the back. Another cool little doodad to have when my charging ports are actually working is this inverter. So you plug it in to, it's like a normal car charger thing, and you plug it into the charging ports, and then it converts it into a normal outlet so you can charge your laptop and stuff like that. My van is super comfy. I love it. I sleep in here like a baby. One of my favorite things to do is to kick back on my bed, relax with a nice drink, maybe a good book or something, and listen to some music. And of course, maybe the only thing I love more than sitting back and relaxing on my bed is opening up the back doors to a really amazing view.